antidote to loneliness is not the invitation to a room full of people. It's the remedy you find in conversation when you hear your voice overflow and remember you occupy space. For loneliness asks for nothing more than to be acknowledged. For loneliness asks for nothing more than to be felt in the bones. Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Tuheena Raj. I'm a poet, writer, and content creator. I'm also a full time brand manager and have worked with organizations like Citibank, Tata Trust, Blue Tokai, and I'm currently working with a digital health tech startup called Shift. Well, why am I here and what am I here to tell you? The fact that I've been living a dual life, that I've been double hatting between a corporate job and being a content creator full time. And let me tell you, it's not easy. I am like anyone who's ambitious and who's always had bigger goals than the ones that they could really see themselves doing in the 24 hours that they have in the day. But I do feel that when you put your mind to it, you can really achieve what you want to. When I got the invitation to this talk and I went through the topic, which is Pehchan or looking within, I went to my sister, who happens to be in the audience today and is much closer to you, a lot of you in the audience, because she's still in college in Delhi University. So I asked her, what do you think people would like to hear about? And she told me this very interesting thing. She said that this is an age when people are entering into their 20s or are in their early 20s, a time of extreme confusion and anxiety. And I could relate with that because I've been through that phase. So she told me that maybe sharing my own personal journey with all of you will help you understand how I found my pehchan. Have I completely found my pehchan yet? I'm not really sure. But I do think I've started taking steps in the right direction. The first thing that I would like to tell you about is my journey when I was about to graduate from college. This was the year 2016, and being a full time content creator was really unheard of. This was when the creator economy was just at the precipice. And if I were to become a content creator full time, my academician parents wouldn't approve of that. So I was in SRCC, and 2016 is when I sat for placements. I had these two clear things I wanted to do. One was I wanted to get a job in banking, be the proper boss lady you think about, earn all the money. And I also was toying with the idea of like writing poetry. So I did both things. I took up a job, I went to Citibank and I started working in BKC in Mumbai. This was for 2 years, in the middle of which I realized that I was extremely lonely. And what came to my rescue was the Instagram page I had created in 2016. This was a growing community where I was writing poetry. And to my surprise and pleasure, this community really helped me come out of a difficult phase when I was living alone in Mumbai. So the earlier poem I started with is the one that I had written when I was living alone in Mumbai. And to be very honest, I do thank myself for taking that juvenile, naive step right in the middle of college when I didn't know what I wanted to do. I started growing that community and I found that it wasn't just a place of solace for me, but a lot more people started writing to me with their own questions, their concerns, their life. I was this stranger on the internet that they could trust and write to, and I felt extremely honored for that. A lot of people wrote to me with mental health issues also, and I am not the right person to address that because I'm not a clinical psychologist by training. So I would direct them to a professional who would be able to help them out better. But my journey was rewarding in a way that I could have never seen coming. So, what are the four things that I thought about when I was trying to find my identity or pehchan? Those are simple, and I wouldn't take a lot of time taking you guys through it. The first thing is that when you find your pehchan, your goal will exhilarate you. It will make you so happy and energized. This will be a task you would never want to delegate. This will be something that you want to keep all to yourself. In the myriad things you do in a day or have done in your lifetime, I'm sure there are 3 or 4 that stand out to you in the way that they make you feel. Identify those and stick to those, because that's the gut, the universe, the entire whatever scheme you would like to call it, destiny trying to tell you something. The second thing to remember is that put yourself out there. I think Mehek also touched upon that when she spoke. But the only thing that I will tell you here is that a lot of people believe when you say your goals out loud, your brain produces the same chemicals that you would get when you achieve that goal, and that sort of defeats the purpose. What I'm trying to tell you here is when you have a goal that you've identified, when you want to achieve something, do everything in your power to get there. Network, talk, reach out to people, send cold emails, set things in motion, because you never know who's listening and who will give you that lucky break. So push yourself out of your comfort zone and familiarity. It is tough. It's not easy. But I have seen this reward coming to myself in the way that when I started writing on Instagram, it was just out of passion and to build a community. But through this, I've been able to write for brands like Only Natural Diamonds, the World Gold Council, Tata Trusts, Tanishq, as well as Instagram. So all of this was set into motion because I started putting myself out there. I started creating an online resume of sorts for people to find me and reach out to me. The third thing to remember is that being a generalist sometimes pays off more than being a specialist. Now, hear me out. It in construct sounds a little counterintuitive, but I'll give you two examples of this. The first is Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, the legendary golfer, we know that he's infamous for a bunch of things, but he was a prodigious child. He was good at golf right from the get go. Even when he was 10, he was winning championships, and there was no stopping him. He was trained to dedicatedly focus for 10,000 hours on golf. And that is because his parents realized early on that he had a gift that they wanted to build on. However, there is one more sports person whose journey is equally exhilarating, but he wasn't a specialist right from the get go. This was somebody who loved to play squash with his dad, who went swimming, skateboarding, and played soccer. In fact, he even protested when he was moved up a class for tennis, the profession that he ended up becoming a champion at, because he was being pulled away from his friends. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Roger Federer. This was somebody who started his career doing multiple things, just playing the sport, enjoying it. In fact, in multiple interviews, he rewards and gives the actual credit for building his motor skills, for building his hand-eye coordination to ball sports and not racket sports, which he played much earlier and younger, at a much earlier and younger age, and then built on that. So what I'm basically saying is that when you're in your early 20s or you're just getting into your 20s, you have the beautiful time of experimenting, of trying everything in your power, of really exploring every nook and corner before you pick a specialization. So use that time. There is no time running away from you. Take that time to figure out what you would want to build your deeper expertise in. The last thing to remember, and this is something that's really helped me understand how I would like to steer my career, is self-awareness. There is no bigger tool that will help you find yourself, your pehchan, or your identity than truly owning who you are. A few years ago, I would never get on stage with my curly hair because I was so conscious of it. Over time, I've learned to own it. This is how I was born. This is how I was born. So why not own it for myself? I've had body image issues, but I've owned that too. And I do think when you have something valuable and important to say, all of this facade just goes away. Getting comfortable with yourself, sitting in your emotions, acknowledging them, fighting your inner demons, and understanding what triggers your fight and flight, which really, really help you out. So give yourself that time and introspect. A thing that you can really, really do, and that has really helped me, is gratitude journaling and putting down affirmations. Do look it up on the internet for better understanding of what that is. But just being able to acknowledge and build systems around it, of finding yourself and being truly self-aware, will really help you out. So yeah, finding your pehchan is really an exhilarating journey. It is terrifying. It is really bothersome as well. But why are we on earth if we're not spending our time thinking, introspecting, and building? because that is truly where our creative genius lies. Thank you so much for having me here today, JMC. It's been lovely being here.